Tamping the coffee. It sounds like a really simple thing to do. It's an integral part of making a coffee, but if you get it wrong, your coffee's going to taste like rubbish. So what we're going to do today is have a look at the tamp. Assuming you've already set your grinder, if not, check the other video. But to get your tamp right, you're going to get rid of this coffee first in here. So we bring it over. You're going to have some leftover bits and pieces in there. It should be reasonably clean. If it's not, you've done something wrong. Go back to setting your grinder. We need to get rid of all this because we don't want this going into the next coffee. It'll be like serving a meal on a dirty plate. So we get our trusty tea towel, wipe it out and make it nice and clean like this. And then we go over to our grinder, which has already been set. We put the grinds in, and they should stack up nicely like this. We've got to groom the shot now. There's lots of different ways to groom it, but probably the simplest way to do it is to tap it towards the bottom. We're just trying to get all the grinds to basically shake down and fill up any air spaces. That's the basic idea of tamping. So we're basically going to hit it very gently here, and you can see it's already moved down and it's all quite nice and smooth there. The other is a north, south, east, west, where you push the grinds away from you, towards you, around and back again, just to even them all out. Or you can get one of these things here. It's actually called a coffee groomer. You basically pop this one on top, spin it round, and it makes it all nice and even. But don't actually do too much as far as grooming the coffee. You're much better just whacking it with your hand. They can help. This one here costs about $200. Your holder tamper is super important as well. You may have heard of a wrist. I've had it. RSI, whichever you want to call it. You've got to hold your tamper correctly. The best way to do it is an extension of your arm. So basically use your palm to grab the handle, which is nicely curved for you, and basically keep it as an extension. Make sure your tamper is the right size. This is a 58mm diameter portafilter. This is a 58mm tamper. They go together. If it's too small, it's not going to work. So once you hold your tamper correctly, just put this against the bench. Don't try and do it in the air. And we're just going to push down, quite simply, right down the middle, and go boom. That's it. Nice and even. The pressure you should exert on that is enough to get rid of any air between the grinds. So basically, there's lots of different theories, 12 kilos, 15 kilos. You can't really over tamp because this machine's about to put, well, 130 psi over 58mm, which works out to about 200 kilos of pressure, but you can under tamp. So do it so there's no more resistance, so just push down until you feel no more resistance. That's it, that's your tamp. There's no need to twist it. You can do it if you want, if it makes you feel better. The polish, they call it, there's no need for that. There may be little bits and pieces of grind on the top, just wipe them off and make it clean. Because if they get stuck into your rubber or your seal, water can find its way out. And let's face it, water's looking for the easiest way out. We're going to make it difficult. Now there are some don'ts with tamping coffee, and this is one of the hardest things you have to get across to people who've done it for years. Like most things, if you train the wrong way, it's very hard to undo what's become habit. So I'm going to show you what the tap can do to your tamp. So a lot of people like to tap it. So you can see the ground's all nicely tamped. So if we tap it, you can see the crack right down the middle of that puck there, and it's also moved away from the edges. Water's going to get through that and you won't get a properly extracted coffee. So never ever tap. On top of that, you're going to wreck your tamper and you're going to wreck your portafilter. You can see straight away how it's coming through because you've absolutely butchered it. All that rubbish coming through that was channeling. It was severe. I hit it really hard, but little taps will cause that kind of channeling, so never tap. And the uneven tamp, I'm using a different tamper so it doesn't get jammed, is when people quite often go in a hurry and just push down at an angle like that, and suddenly it's on a crazy angle. In my opinion, part of tamping is getting the right basket size. I think a 20-gram basket is probably the best basket you can use, but some people insist on using this type of basket. It's called a single basket. They shouldn't exist in my opinion. You've basically got, well, less than half the surface area, so you can basically double your pressure. So this is your normal 20-gram basket. You can see it comes through nice and smoothly. 26 seconds for that to come through, which is pretty much where we timed it to come through. And now we're going to use the single basket. I'm going to put half as much coffee in this one. Now keep in mind, I haven't adjusted the grinder, the time and the pressure or anything. Let's see what happens. The single basket. Off we go. You can see it's really struggling to come out. Alright, so that took 1 minute and 43 seconds to come through. The bottom line is, the coffee would have tasted like absolute dirt. So don't use these. Just stick with your double baskets and you won't have any hassles.